is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch me! Touchdown, Oregon!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Some big news around Oregon football's upcoming schedule to start off today's show. And also Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, will be with us. He and I are going to talk about his trip along with Bo Nix across the award circuit, really across the entire country. We're going to talk with Rob about that because he was on the trip. Also, the Fiesta Bowl coming up. Ducks are back at practice tomorrow. We're going to talk with Coach Lanning, of course, leading up to the Fiesta Bowl. We'll have that for you. Tomorrow's Duck Insider is actually our last before the holiday break. Next week, leading up to the Christmas holiday, we have a number of Oregon women's basketball games that are actually during our regular show time if you watch the show and listen to the show live in the 1 o'clock hour. So I think the way that the airtime conflicts worked out, we would have only had like one show next week. So got a lot of live play-by-play for you for men's and women's basketball as the Ducks will be continuing practicing. Some practice reports coming your way. That's all on the horizon next week as we get ready for that 10 a.m. kickoff on New Year's Day. Ducks and Liberty in the Fiesta Bowl. Football schedule changes, though. Oh, I also, though, should say, Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach, he's actually still out in Tampa at the Volleyball Coaches Convention. He's also on the All-American Committee. He's going to be with us coming up a little bit later on. Normally we talk to him on a Tuesday, but with his schedule, worked out that we were chatting with him today. So we've got that for you coming up. Football schedule changes. The next 2 years of the Oregon football schedule will sustain the annual rivalry matchup with Oregon State and provide balance on a year-over-year basis thanks to several changes made by a ton of Oregon participating teams on the Duck schedule, and then also Oregon, of course, itself. Because of the Ducks' move to the Big Ten, the Ducks had been scheduled to play an 8-game home slate next fall, which included long-standing games contracted with Hawaii, Idaho, Boise State, and Texas Tech. The Oregon football team then was scheduled to play just 6 home games in 2025, again featuring a non-conference slate of games with contracts agreed upon years in advance. There's been so much movement around college football and the conference changes that it's made non-conference scheduling immensely difficult, and so some adjustments are really happening across the country, and the Ducks are one of them. Thanks to those adjustments with some future opponents, the Ducks will now play its preferred number of 7 home games in each season, and will have a home-and-home with Oregon State in 2024 and 2025. Ducks and Beavers first met back in 1894. Their rivalry series is the 5th most played in college football history, 127 matchups between the two. The Ducks lead the series 68-49 and 10. The 2023 game was played before 59,987 fans, the 4th largest crowd in Autzen Stadium history. So sustaining the rivalry that the fans all love, I'm one of them, was a big priority point for Oregon athletics, and the Ducks and the Beavers have worked out a way to do it. So the 2024 home opener will remain a matchup with Idaho on August 31st. But instead of hosting Texas Tech and then Boise State over the following 2 weeks, the Ducks will host the Broncos on September 7th before playing at Oregon State on September 14th. So the Ducks will go to Corvallis after Oregon would have had 8 home games next year, and then the trade-off is the Ducks get a 7th home game against the Beavers on September 20th of 2025. So rather than playing Boise State on the road on September 13th, Oregon will host Oregon State on September 20th. It's a 3-game contract with the Broncos that was reduced to 2. home dates for the Ducks in 2024 and then 2026. So Oregon will not travel to Boise State and instead will play Oregon State on September 20th of 2025. So now the Ducks will have 7 home games in each of the next 2 seasons, in line with the balance the program seeks in order to provide predictability in pricing for season ticket holders, revenue for the athletic department, and competitive balance for the football team. Under the scheduling rotation in the Pac-12, Oregon actually hosted 4 conference games in even-numbered years and 5 in odd-numbered years. Future non-conference scheduling was hence conducted with that in mind to achieve 7 home games per year. In the Big Ten, which also plays a 9-game conference schedule, that was actually flip-flopped. And so the adjustments had to occur in order for Oregon to maintain that balance of 7 home games. And that's also a benefit to this rivalry. Oregon and Oregon State now continuing that rivalry for at least the next 2 years. Consistency for season ticket holders, I want to say, was a big piece of this, particularly given the historic level of interest in Oregon football season tickets. The athletic department has already received more than 2,000 requests for new season tickets in 2024, when the Ducks will look to build on the previous 2 seasons under head coach Dan Lanning, and of course, that highly anticipated move to the Big Ten that features matchups with Washington, Ohio State, Michigan State, Illinois, and Maryland, along with non-conference home games against the Vandals and Broncos, as we've been discussing. The 2025 schedule at Autzen Stadium will see USC, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Indiana visit in conference play, as well as non-conference matchups with Oregon State, Oklahoma State, and Montana State. Previously scheduled 2024 matchup with Texas Tech has been postponed to 2033, so still scheduling out a wide length of time. The Red Raiders instead will play at Washington State next season. So Texas Tech already making a West Coast trip. They're just going to do it to Pullman instead of Eugene. Existing football season ticket holders, you can go to GoDucks.com to renew your season tickets. That's coming up. And then in the 2024 season, fans interested in becoming season ticket holders can go to GoDucks.com, and you can add to that 2,000 new season ticket mark coming up. So schedule changes in 2024 and 2025. Ducks will play 7 home games each of the next 2 years, going to Oregon State next year in September, and then hosting the Beavers in September coming up in 2025. Also today, Jackson Powers Johnson, it's official. Joining an elite group of Ducks, he's the 5th player in program history to earn unanimous All-America status. The American Football Coaches Association named him a first-teamer today. That's pretty darn cool because he's the first unanimous All-American since 2021. Program legends, LaMichael James, 2010, Marcus Mariota, 2014, Penei Sewell, 2019, and Kayvon Thibodeau in 2021. Those are the only other players to ever earn the distinction of a unanimous first-team All-American. Congratulations to Jackson Powers Johnson. That's awesome. And we look forward to seeing what he does in his future career. Now coming up, Rob Moseley's here, folks, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. He was like 3 minutes early, so he was ready to rock today. So we're going to take a break, come back, break down some schedules, and a whole lot more with Rob Moseley on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack and the GoDucks.com editor-in-chief, Rob Moseley, is here with us. What's up, Rob?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, today's a day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Announcement coming out today, though. We got to start there. The rivalry continues, Rob, and I know a lot of fans are excited about that.
Yeah, I think that was a big priority for everyone to try to sustain that. And, this is 2 years, but, obviously I think it's fair to say the hope is that it will be in perpetuity.
Yeah.
You just kind of work within the, there's still some uncertainties with Oregon State's future and kind of what that's going to look like. And so you don't want to overcommit, but so many moving parts in that deal. Cause you schedule out, you want some predictability. So you schedule out and then things change and you try to pivot and it's, there's a lot of moving pieces. So I think it sounds like there was some good teamwork amongst different schools to try to resolve this, and so I think that was hopefully everybody is excited. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing around college sports in general. Like I think one result of having to be so nimble during the pandemic is that now maybe it's I don't know if it's easier. It's probably not, but at least it's more accepted to make changes because you're right. It's so difficult to schedule ahead for football. So many moving pieces.
No, that's an interesting point that maybe some things were reinforced that if you have to shift on the fly, your default doesn't need to be, it's going to be a pain. Let's just stick with what we got, We all learned to kind of adjust to new circumstances and
no doubt.
Kind of get comfortable being uncomfortable during those couple years. So, that's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about the pandemic lately. I feel like personally, I'm finally back to normal in terms of lifestyle and planning for the future and things like that.
That's good.
It took until kind of the middle of this year
really
to feel like it's no, I'm back to who I was before it hit. I'm back to living the lifestyle I was before it happened.
I'm not.
Because you make these little small. Well, yeah, your life changed considerably, but you make these small little adjustments, and then it's kind of hard to revert, and sometimes you don't, and then sometimes obviously you have a child and you can't revert. I remain a child, and so
that's right. Bravo.
Yeah. I can revert back to that.
Yeah,
back to
awesome.
Form.
Well, but and I don't know if that's true. I mean, I get the sense around college sports because it's such a large industry. We know that there are so many things and so many variables, but whether it be because of the pandemic and we're all more willing to shift on the fly, or just because the landscape has changed significantly. It's not just conference realignment, but NIL. I mean, the list goes on and on, right, of all the things that have changed.
No, I think that, and that's right, that holistically, I think it's probably fair to say there was a sense prior to that, hey, we've got these bedrock foundational principles, and we're going to abide by that, and our default is going to be not to get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's just an overall sense of flexibility now that's the default now when something new or different comes up is, okay, I guess we'll give it a shot. It's because it seems like it makes sense. Now, does it make it harder to keep track of everything? And, does it these things start to feel a little more chaotic? And,
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes.
Yes.
Hard
do.
stop.
Yeah.
But just because something's different doesn't mean it's worse.
Yeah.
It just means it's different.
Agreed. Yeah. And you and I have talked about this both on and off the air. I think that we, as a society are creatures of habit.
No doubt.
And so it is difficult to
That's
change.
basic human biology. You want predictability,
Right.
so you know some tiger's not going to jump out of the jungle and eat you.
I want to know where my water comes from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when Rob and I get together. Even on a Thursday, I wondered if you'd be a different guy on a Thursday interview than you would be on a Wednesday interview. Because Rob is often the guy. I always scheduled it on Wednesday because you get us over the hump.
Yeah.
Man, coming on the other side of the hump, you're ready to roll. He didn't even get his Mountain Dew today.
This is a weird week, though. We don't have a ton going on, so it's pretty chill.
Speak for yourself. I'm on a flight to South Dakota tomorrow.
Yeah, but, we didn't have to do, football this morning.
That's right. Football's back tomorrow, folks.
Yeah.
Quack Minute coming to social medias near you tomorrow.
I have to do it by myself.
Likely, yes.
Yeah.
I'm told that the men's basketball plane leaves at 1 o'clock. Coach Lanning's going to talk to the media at noon.
Yeah.
How fast can I get to the airport?
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to find out. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. You've done them by yourself.
Yeah.
You're a veteran.
Yeah. We'll just toss to Coach.
Well, what do people really want to hear?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You just also got back from a long trip covering football awards circuit, volleyball. What was the week like? Catch fans up.
There was a long week. Yeah. I went to – so we were in Las Vegas, obviously, for the football game. Boo. Came home for 2 nights.
Just knife.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I know. I just trigger warning. Although apparently there's research now that including trigger warnings is more triggering than the actual
because then I'm thinking and expecting the trigger.
Right, the tiger's going to jump out of the
forest
forest and get you eventually.
That's
and
human
tonight,
biology. Right,
totally.
here we go again. That's it. Mm-hmm.
But so it was home for a couple days. Went back to Las Vegas last Monday, 10 days ago or no, so whatever that was, with Bo and Izzy, and. So was there for him to get the Campbell Trophy on Tuesday and to watch LaMichael James get inducted in the College Hall of Fame on Tuesday, which was just awesome.
Cool. Suit looked good, by the way.
And then, thanks.
Good job. You clean up good.
The other guys, they had some different colors going on.
Yeah.
I went in and they were just here's what you're wearing, and I was like, thank you for doing this for me. And then I was like, wait, I could have picked a green tie or something, but whatever. Nobody's there to see me again, just to the earlier point.
You're supposed to blend in.
Right. Right. And then Wednesday, that crew continued on to New York for the Heisman ceremony, but I went to Madison, Wisconsin to join up with volleyball and cover them Thursday and Saturday, which was phenomenal. First of all, I'd never been to Madison, and it is a great town.
Okay, good to know.
Now, we got really lucky on the weather, apparently, because I was able to go on a couple of long walks to check out town on the game days and just kind of see the sights, and but I had no idea it's on this isthmus between these two giant lakes, and I had no idea what campus is not, but the Capitol and kind of the downtown area, which included where we stayed. But then on topic, to cover that squad and shine a spotlight on a very deserving volleyball team was nice. It just reinforced, again, how crucial home court advantage is when you get to that level. Because I do think it's the second year in a row where I wonder if, there was a couple of really close sets there where, had it been the Ducks playing at Matthew Knight Arena with their, 5,000 plus whatever fans, maybe things go a little differently. So
7,000 plus. Let's get there.
Oh, no, I would think for a match like that, certainly you'd probably be talking about numbers like that. That Wisconsin's field house does have that Mac Court vibe to it.
They're on you.
Which made it tough. I think we've all thought out loud at times how cool would it be if Mac Court could be repurposed and maybe used for volleyball or some basketball games. And
I have thought that out
so
loud,
yes. That definitely popped into my head man, it'd be cool to pull that off. I have no idea how many gazillion dollars it would take to retrofit and
I've heard some estimates. We won't go into it.
So probably not likely anytime soon, but a fun environment I think for our team to play in and compete in, and tough to see some really great Ducks careers come to an end. Some really talented players, a great senior class. But they left it all out there.
Program record 6 All-Americans.
Yeah.
From that group.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it's going to be tough to replicate. I mean, they've got the transfer portal is a reality in volleyball as well. So I think you saw with Gabby Gonzalez and Kara McGee this year, with Hannah Pukas last year. You can get some real high level players to come in and impact your program. But they had some really talented players that redshirted this year too. I guess I don't know technically who got in, who didn't, who all redshirted, but some freshmen who weren't in key rotation roles because of all those seniors, who are going to be ready for some bigger roles too. So
and
it's
even
gonna
a transfer that's in that.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see kind of the roster makeup and what they do over the course of this offseason.
Well, great tease, because we're going to talk with head coach Matt Ulmer about
Maybe
that.
he can give you some scoop.
Yeah, coming up in just a little while. Yeah, Coach Ulmer is actually still out in Florida because he was on the All-American committee.
Yeah.
But got to see 6 Ducks come from that All-American committee, which is pretty cool.
It would have been cool to go to Tampa, cover a Final Four for volleyball, same place as Final Four for women's basketball a few years ago. But alas.
Yep.
Man, I can't imagine being in Tampa right now.
Talk about trigger warnings.
It would be awesome. But
what are you doing today?
It would be 2 weeks on the road.
2 weeks on the road. You would have had to do laundry.
I would have had to do laundry. I would have had to do laundry Monday.
Yeah.
Like I ran out of laundry. Like I think I wore my last clean pair of socks home. From Madison. So
it happens.
Situation was critical.
Yeah, no, I get it. I've done that. I've packed accordingly for those long postseason runs.
I want to say I've only had one trip. I think it was it was when I was with golf in Arizona for like 2 weeks.
A little hot.
Yeah, I had to do laundry on that trip.
And then I think you also came to baseball. I think that same trip, didn't you? Yeah, because it was.
That was the first year the tournament was in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be an odd one this year. I'm already thinking about that. Looking ahead, that'll be the last Pac-12 event. Will be the baseball tournament.
But golf will be in California.
Can't
do the double.
Yeah, I guess you could try.
Yeah, this spring's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Softball schedule just came out yesterday. I believe the baseball schedule is close to being finalized.
Sources have told me.
That's right.
It could be coming soon.
That's same source, I think. So can we double confirm like in good old journalism? No.
Not if it's the same source.
Yeah, not if it's the same source. Can't double confirm. Yeah. All right. Fiesta Bowl also coming up. I don't know how you feel, Rob, but this time of year, it's the overlap, it's the holidays. I also think, and I know there's been lots of conversation amongst commissioners and people that make decisions that are far more significant than you or I, but I do get the sense that because of the 12-team playoff and the early signing period, like there's so much going on around this time of year that I do kind of hope some of that adjusts. I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do that, but I think there's just so much going on. It does make it difficult, I got to think, to prepare for a bowl game coming up.
Yeah,
first
and you've got all the
tomorrow.
holidays coming up too. I would think
finals week.
Once you get to the week of the game, things will change. But right now it's just part of. If you're a Dan Lanning, I mean, you always have a zillion balls in the air that you're juggling, and so this time of year is no different. And so maybe we just get a better appreciation for that.
Could be
at a time right now because it's these really high-profile, visible things coming up. But I think I would assume once we get to game week, that'll change. But hey, I think we also have to accept and understand that for a lot of fans, when you're at the precipice of reaching a bigger stage, which when you think of how monumental it was to qualify for the Fiesta Bowl back in 2001, and even that came with a little bit of disappointment, but that was such a big deal. So to be even thinking in these terms is a little strange. But when the playoff was out there and you come up just short, you understand it. It's human nature. It's gonna take some time to kind of regroup, kind of reorient. Where can this season go? What can this season mean? What can we get out of this season? But you can win 12 games. What would it only be like the 5th time maybe? Yeah. So
it's amazing the goal expectation. Like you bring up a great point, and that we talk about this all the time, right? It speaks to the rise of Oregon football.
Well, when you were just going through the unanimous All-Americans,
right.
I mean, the first one wasn't until
2010.
Yeah, 13 years ago.
Just became a college football Hall of Famer.
And then suddenly, there's been 4 since?
Yeah, 4.
So that just speaks to kind of where things are at for this program, and two things can be true at the same time. That in the short term, this program has really, really high expectations, and nothing short of competing for and trying to win championships is acceptable. But we can also take a step back and say, man, it's pretty cool even to be in the conversation, even when you do fall short. Yes, it's disappointing in the short term. But in the long term, in the arc of this program, it's pretty great to be where we're at. And, so many people have played a role in helping get Oregon to this position where we're having conversations like that. that you can have some gratitude for that and towards them and kind of how far things have come.
Well, and even case in point, like, Liberty as the group of 5 highest ranked team, they get into a New Year's Six game. I talked with my counterpart there. His name's Alan York, and he was like, yeah, this is the biggest moment in the history of this program.
Right.
They've gone through some elevation of level, right, within the NCAA hierarchy. They've also changed conferences, and I think that's a great mirror. Like, they've been on sort of this rise that's very akin to what Oregon was with some different circumstances just 2 decades ago.
No, I believe their head coach said the same thing.
He did,
that first introductory teleconference announcing the matchup. And so that's cool. And it's also a warning for Oregon's team. Like, those dudes are going to be fired up.
Yeah, that's right.
Is there the potential that they're going to be like, we've never been here. We don't know how to handle it. We're just happy to be here. Sure, but, like, you better be ready for a team that's like, we can do something that this program has never done before. And what would beating Oregon mean to that on this stage mean to that program? So, yeah, you got to assume that they're going to come out loaded for bear.
Yeah, well, and to that point, I think it's important also to note, like, that's the way that it fell, right? Oregon, because the Rose Bowl's in a playoff, go to the Fiesta Bowl. Liberty, it's the rotation and the way that it worked out. And so I know a lot of fans are like, well, could Oregon get a better matchup? I'm telling you, this is going to be a fun matchup for that exact reason.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because they're ready to roll.
Yeah, I think above all, we owe a tremendous appreciation to Bo Nix for being willing to put it out there and participate in this game and make clear how much it meant to him to play in this game. Because I think, again, getting back to the idea that playing in a Fiesta Bowl could be not what you were hoping for. I think Bo's appreciation for the sport of college football specifically helps remind us all that this is a big deal. That, it's not the biggest possible deal that could have been achieved this season.
Well said.
But it's still a big deal, and he's going to appreciate that. And, hey, maybe we should all maybe follow suit and appreciate that as well.
Well said.
And the fact that he's going to play is going to, I think, help us all do that.
Well, and, to that point, a lot of fans have asked me, like, well, who's going to play, who's not, guys declaring for the NFL draft. The truth is, and I don't know, I think you agree with this, but the truth is, like, tomorrow's the practice. I think you and I will both be kind of looking like, all right, so what's the depth chart going to look like? And we'll know more in the next couple weeks.
For sure, yeah. And you just have to respect guys' decisions.
No
and,
doubt.
Are there going to be some guys like Bo that play and then, obviously he has to go pro it, play the game and then announce they're leaving?
Right.
Sure. Are there going to be some guys that are like, hey, it's in my best interest to sit this out? Sure. Yeah, and you have to understand that as well.
Yep.
And then you line them up with the guys you got. And I think one thing we've all appreciated about this team throughout this year is how deep it is and how much that depth has paid off. And hey, if it just means a few more guys get to show, show what they have and show off the overall depth, then that'll be cool.
Yeah. Well said.
There's going to be some cool stories that come out of that.
No doubt. Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. So some practice reports coming, a lot of coverage on GoDucks.com, headed toward the Fiesta Bowl, and then we'll be there. We've got some basketball games to take care of, a few wins to get, even in conference play before that Fiesta Bowl. We'll have that all covered for you on GoDucks.com and, of course, here on the Oregon Sports Network. And then we'll talk to you again in January here on Duck Insider.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. When we come back, Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer joins us. A lot to recap on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You work so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Actually, earlier today, we sat down with Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer, reviewing what was a truly tremendous season. Live on the line from Florida is Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer. So normally it's Matt Ulmer Tuesday. Well, Matt Ulmer Tuesday didn't happen, but we instead got to... Yeah, that didn't work. We tried to do the handshake through the TV, but good effort, though. But so Coach Ulmer is still in Florida, and so with the way that his schedule worked out, we're talking on a Thursday instead of a Tuesday. Don't worry, though, still a T day. So, Coach, tell people what you're doing out there still.
So on Saturday, we lost to Wisconsin. Sunday, everybody went home. Instead of me going home, I flew to Tampa, where the Final Fours and the convention is at, and I was on the All-American committee. So Monday, Tuesday, I was in the room. Yeah. All day in the room. It's a cool process, but long, but happy to be a part of it. And then presenting a couple times, and then we have All-Americans that will be honored tomorrow. So here with them, and they'll be at the awards banquet. So a lot going on this week. Wish we were playing, but still here and representing Oregon.
Yeah, I wish that we were previewing a Final Four, but still a cool experience to, I'm sure, be there at the convention. And we're going to talk about a program record, All-Americans, a little season review, peek ahead to the offseason with Coach Ulmer, recapping volleyball season. Coach, have you, though, been on the All-American committee? Remind me, before this
This is the first All-Region. Before that, this is the first year I'm on the All-American.
Okay. So what's that process like? Like, I'm just curious as a fan of how these things work. Like, how do you get selected for such a thing in the first place?
Yeah, I was really interested. So it starts at the regional level. So there's 10 regions for volleyball in the country.
Right.
So then you have an all-region committee, which there's a coach from every conference within the region that represents that committee. And then you have a chair. So this year I was the chair. The last 3 or 4 years I've just been on the committee.
Okay.
And so they get nominated by their coaches throughout the country. And then the coaches in the region vote for who they think should be on the all-region team. And then once that happens, now whoever makes the all-region team, they get pushed forward to now All-American nomination. And then you send in video so that we can watch video of the players. And then we have all of these names up on the board from all the different regions. So I don't know, 140, almost 200 names.
Wow.
Probably on the wall. And we're going through and we're trying to place where everybody goes. We have a handful of different computers and screens with like all the stats, all kind of from all over. And so for the first few teams, we're looking at what they did against top 25 competition. And some teams have a little bit of data, and teams like us, a lot of data.
Right.
We played a lot of teams that were the top 25. And then once you kind of get through the first couple teams and see how they did against other All-Americans, then we grow it out to like top 50 games and kind of goes from there. So it was really interesting to kind of see how it all worked out. It doesn't necessarily have to be like perfect by position, but you're just trying to get who's most deserving of being named an All-American that year.
Now, of course, a program record 6, so it's a good thing that I imagine do you have to recuse yourself when Oregon players are being discussed? And it's probably a good thing when you have to leave the room, right?
Well, I was thankful because, I mean, pretty much like our players, there was not a lot of fuss. So yes, I had to go out a couple times whenever they were discussing them. But for the most part, I thought like our players were slightly obvious in their spots.
Oh.
And I feel like it was pretty good.
Cool.
For kind of what I represent. Yeah. So I think that was not very awkward. Like it probably could have been more awkward, and for us it wasn't. So
how do you end up on the committee though? Like I'm kind of wondering about a coach. Like is this just always something you've wanted to do?
No, so there's a handful of committees that our conference needs to fulfill an obligation to. And so one of them is the regional committee. And so, like, it was my turn. If you do it long enough, I'll probably be on all of them. Like, if I'm here long enough, then I get to probably do all the committees at some point, which is neat. I really do enjoy seeing, like, how things are done, like, to your question, right? Like, how does it work?
Yeah.
And I didn't really know the answer, but now I have a much more in-depth knowledge of kind of how things go. And then just to be a part of it and then maybe lend an idea or two if, to try to make things better or whatever. So, yeah, it's cool to be on this one.
And now we know also. Matt Ulmer joining us, Oregon Volleyball head coach. All right, so I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty before we go big picture season review. Coach, congratulations on a great season. Back-to-back Elite Eights for the first time in program history. And I know you always want to win the last one, but have to feel good a few days out now about the season that you had.
I think we were playing our best volleyball at the end. I thought our Sweet 16 match against Purdue was the best we had played, and then I thought we went above that when we played Wisconsin. I think we gave everything that we had. I think we left everything on the floor. We lost to a better team at home, and we had our chances, right? So I think it was like 22-all for the first 3 sets, and I really believe, especially on the road in that kind of environment, like you got to win the close ones, and we didn't win enough of them. But I'm really proud of our team, and I really feel like this group was ready for what's next. I feel like they're prepared for what the future is going to hold for them, excited for what that looks like for them. And it was a great ride. And now I know the next group is ready to move forward.
Yeah, I want to talk with you a little bit about the future ahead. And I know that's a little bit unfair here as we sit less than a week away from the end of the current season. But that's kind of the coaching cycle, isn't it? Like, you always have to have an eye to the future.
Really, all the time. Yeah. That never not happens. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, that
so
makes
try
sense.
to handle that the best we can. But yes, a big part of why I think we've been so successful the last 2 years is because our practice squad, playing against each other in practice, a lot of those matches in practice have been better than the competition that we played in games.
Wow.
So I think again our A side, our starting side, lost to our non-starting side the day before we played Purdue. And so I thought it was just really great competition, really pushing each other. Yeah. So the future is exciting. I'm sure we'll have some ups and downs just learning because we will definitely be younger. But what is an unbelievably talented group, maybe the most talented group I've ever had as far as athletically and savvy and experience for their age. So just trying to got to put the pieces together and, develop as a group. And I know we're all excited to have some time off now, but when January comes back around, we're back in school. I think this group's going to be really hungry to get better.
Talking volleyball with head coach Matt Ulmer. To the future in a moment, I do want to take a little more time back to the All-Americans. A program record, Coach. You talk about the season that you put together and then the individual honors that come with it. What does that mean to the program to have that program record 6 All-Americans recognized?
I think probably I'll need more time to reflect to really have a good idea. But just in the moment, it feels slightly overwhelming. It's really neat just to see the acknowledgement from other people of the hard work that our players have put in. All different positions, right? Every different position has been represented.
Yeah.
And so just to see, the growth as a group, but when you come together as a team, good things happen for you. And I think, hopefully, again, that this is something that inspires the next group.
Yeah, and talking about the inspiration, I was kind of curious too, Coach. Like, how have you fostered that competition level? It's in today's era, like we see transfers in all sports, and everybody wants to play right away with the talent that you bring in. How have you done that the last few years, fostering that competition in practice that leads to the success in matches?
Yeah, and we've had some of that other stuff too, right? We're not immune to it, and I'm sure that will continue to happen. I think for me, it starts with relationships, just really trying to be able to trust each other. I hope the players believe that I want what's best for them here and then for the future. And I know that doesn't always maybe look how they think it's going to look in the moment, but hopefully they can look back, like all the 6 that just left or 7 that just left, that they can look back and be like, it was worth it. And I got to where I needed to go at the end, and it might've been ups and downs, but all those things help shape them. So I hope they believe that, and I hope the next group can see that. And then just trying to surround ourselves with good people. I think our staff is great. They work hard. They give everything they have. And I think they really model what the student athletes need to be like in order to be successful. So I just feel really grateful for the people around our program over the past few years. And then we've been very fortunate with our transfers. The people we brought in, again, like Oni right now, and Gabby and Kara and Hannah, that we had on this roster, like they're 10 out of 10s. And it was speed dating to get them. You don't really know what you're going to get. And so, I think we were very fortunate with the people that we got. And before that, Taylor Borup and Abby Hansen, I could go down the list.
Right.
Gloria, just really unbelievable human beings, and that were really hungry for a different opportunity, and just really shined through it. And, hopefully, transfers continue to happen. We're fortunate with who we bring in.
Yeah, I guess that's the obvious question then from like a fan's perspective. I imagine you got to keep your eye on the portal here this offseason, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, because if someone leaves us, right, we have to replace.
Right.
And it's really hard to replace with an incoming freshman because the recruiting process happens so early. They're already signed and committed elsewhere. So the portal's kind of the way that you go to fill your roster. And like I said, we've been very fortunate. It's always scary because you don't know where that player is going to come from or what that's going to look like or if. But so far for us, it's gone well. And I'm sure we'll have to fill a couple spots here in the portal, at least for depth, for sure. So hopefully, we're lucky again.
Head coach Matt Ulmer with us. A quick time out here on Duck Insider. Coming back, part 2 of our conversation with the Oregon Volleyball head coach on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Make the most of your holidays with a new Toyota at Toyotathon. From ski trips to holiday shopping, you'll be thanking yourself all season long.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 2nd. Participating dealers only. Toyota. Let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union, resuming our conversation with Duck Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer, reviewing what was truly a tremendous season. Yeah, fans, I'm sure, are also curious. The outlook for the roster, what can you say about it? You've talked about the competition level and the quality of player that maybe fans like us aren't as familiar with. What can you say about the roster for next year?
Well, I think Mimi Collier, people know her. So she's back, and so she's a 2-time All-American.
Mimi, we know you. Yeah, Mimi, we know you. Yes.
And she's going to be an upperclassman now, which is crazy to think because it feels like she just got here. Stepping in Alex Acevedo, who, reclassified and was a freshman this year and was able to redshirt, and Sophie Gregoire, same thing. She was able to redshirt, but the two of them are big time. They're excellent. So we have 3 really legit lefts in that spot, that are ready to go. Isabel Patterson right behind them, who's done some back row for us. She's going to play beach here for Jason Dillard. And she's been taking reps on the left, so I like that. Noemi Glover, who is behind Morgan this year, but could play for any team. I mean, she's fantastic, but was behind a 50-year All-American this year. But just wreaked havoc on the B side for us and is ready to go. I think she's going to be a really great opposite that the fans are really going to love watching. And then, Oni, like I said, Oni Efegbu, now she redshirted this year. She'll be back. And Colby Neal, who we saw a lot of this year, and is playing her best volleyball. Again, she was behind 2 pro players,
right?
But she's right in that mix and she's feeling very confident. So I think our middles are great. And then we're going to add 2 really exciting freshman middle coming in. And then at libero, so Daly's been doing great.
Yeah.
And Kate, saw a lot of time this year, so I'm excited for their growth. And then setter Chris Klein was able to redshirt this year behind a first-team All-American Hannah,
right.
but just has done a great job. And again, the growth has been so good there. So I think overall, and then we have Maya also in the back row, and then again we'll see who else we're able to add. But I think overall the growth of that group was massive this year. And I'm just excited to get in the gym with them with the winter and spring and see how much bigger we can grow.
Yeah, I'm already excited now for next season. So what's the off-season plan, Coach? What should fans know as you approach your spring slate?
Well, we'll have spring competitions again in April, May, and when we know about that, we'll let you know. But we're just going to get back in the gym, and we'll have our individual practice time for all of the winter term, and then we'll start our 20 hours once the spring term happens. And again, it's just a different feel. Yeah, I just feel like we're a very experienced older group. It was more about kind of keeping things together than maybe as much. It's so much growth. But I think this group, it's exciting to go in. Again, they're very eager. They're very willing to learn and excited for that. And so as a coach, that's exciting. So I think, we're just ready to get in there and get after it. But I'm excited for everybody to see, a lot of new faces and just see the style of play, hopefully continue to, play at a high level and reach for championships.
Yeah. Now, I do want to ask you a little bit about the pro draft. And we've talked a little bit about just the impact from some of your departing players. And on the Hannah Pukas note, Coach, 3rd overall in the Pro Volleyball Federation draft, and I wanted you to give fans a little bit of context, if you could, on the pro draft. You see all the Duck names come off the board, and it seems like right around All-Americans, it happens so fast for fans. So what's that like for you to see that professional growth of this sport?
That's so exciting. The PVF, the Professional Volleyball Federation, is going to be in its first year. And so Coach Taiba, who had left us last year, she's coaching the San Diego team. But, it's coaches like her that are, really elite coaches, trying to get this thing off the ground and move it in the right direction. And they have really exciting great ownership, and people are really investing into the sport. And so it's going to be in 7 different cities for the first year. And I think it's going to get up to maybe 14 for the second year.
Nice.
And so they've already announced a bunch of those. So it's really taking off, and a lot of excitement's happening around it. And I know our players are thrilled. They get the opportunity to do what they love to do in our states, and that's really never been an opportunity. They never had that opportunity before. So we have a few that have come back. So Taylor Borup is going to be in Vegas, and Ronica and Willow and August are going to be in San Diego, and Brooke and Lindsay are going to be in Omaha. And then now we just added seven Ducks because Abby Hansen, who graduated from us 2 years ago, she's going to join in Orlando with Georgia Murphy.
Cool.
And then Kara is in Atlanta, and Hannah and Gabby are going to be in Vegas. So I'm sure we're all going to want to go visit them and watch them play in Vegas. That'll be a fun weekend. And then in San Diego, you got Carson, and who am I missing? Morgan. Right. So, so pretty neat. So just to feel the love from those guys, what it means to them. One, coming off of a great year, and then it's bittersweet. You lose, and that's really hard. But then to turn around and then their dreams come true and they get drafted.
Yeah.
They're going to be pros, and so that was a really great 48 hours. Great turnaround, great timing of that. And then they almost all of them get All-American.
Right.
So just really neat. I'm really happy for them, and again, just their hard work paid off.
On the pro front, Coach, you talked about your alums and really drawing them back from overseas. How big of a deal has that been? We've seen Athletes Unlimited, what they've done for various women's sports, and now this. Just what can you say about the growth of the professional game, and how big of a deal is it to have them in the United States, as you alluded to?
Well, I mean, volleyball on the international scene has been huge.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not seen here. So I think people forget about it. I think it's similar like what soccer had been.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the number, these are the top 2 most participated sports in the world. And those are the 2 that have the biggest spotlight here. So just the opportunity to see that grow. Again, you're seeing ratings grow all over the place.
Yep.
Our Wisconsin match got great ratings. We were the number 1 for the regional finals. And just to see, and our championship's going to be on ABC here on Sunday, and how exciting that is, or Monday, I can't remember which day it is, and how great that's going to be. But just to see where everything's going, you saw our attendance. We're top 10 in the country in attendance. So I sang the national anthem, but that's where that put us. And so I think the sport is just booming, and it's just a great time to be a part of women's volleyball. And all the opportunities that everybody's been fighting for women student athletes, they're paying off. It's happening. Those opportunities are coming up, and hopefully they just thrive in those opportunities. And so it's really neat to see. And I'm excited for their families. I'm excited to go on the road and go watch a bunch of games, for PVF, and go support them all. And we're gonna have 13. We have 13 in the league, and 2 more. We got Lauren Page in Portugal and Gloria Gutierrez in Germany. So we got 15 pro Ducks right now, which that's a crazy number. And there's potential that we have 1 more. So I'm really happy for them, and I'm really happy, that everything we've been working hard, has paid off for them.
Well, that's awesome. Coach Ulmer, thanks so much for taking the time with us. As you know, we really enjoy the conversation, and I know it's a busy week for you, so I sure appreciate it. I know the fans do as well, taking the time to come on with us. And thank you again, Coach, just for what you've done. And here's to breaking the season ticket record again. Any word yet on what you'll do? I mean, we've been discussing this, that if you break the season ticket record again, will there be another performance? What's the leader in the clubhouse right now?
I really think that's up to you. I mean, you're the man.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I feel like.
Did everybody hear that?
I think start thinking about it. I don't know. You come to me, we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
His hair's going to be green, folks. It washes out.
Let's talk about it.
It washes out. It washes out. Well, hey, in the spirit of the holidays, and also in the spirit of your excellent national anthem performance, Coach, do you have your Mount Rushmore of Christmas songs for us?
Ooh, Mary, did you know? That's towards the top.
All right.
One you might not love as much, but or everybody gets, but that's good. White Christmas.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby. I mean, come on, that's a must.
He's right in your wheelhouse, isn't he? Yeah.
And then I think just Silent Night, that's a great one.
That is a good one.
I sing that one to the kids a lot, and the Pentatonics version, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then probably the John Legend one that he just came out with last year, that was really good.
All right.
So that's something new. And then you can always just go back to NSYNC, and their Merry Christmas. That's a good one. There's so many. I could go forever. Anything Mariah Carey did on her Christmas album, Carpenter's Christmas, that's right there.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, darling. I mean, there's so many.
I knew we'd get him going with that. I thought about having.
We can work on our album. We can work on that
because we're trying to convince those of you who don't remember. My sister said that after listening to Coach Ulmer sing the national anthem live on senior night, she was like, "Christmas album is next," and I was like, I think it could be a thing. So now we have an idea of what some of those Matt Ulmer covers on the Christmas album would be, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I feel comfortable doing all those,
Good. I think he could hit the Mariah Carey notes. Don't you, Scott? I think, yep.
That little whistle? Sure.
Yeah. That's great. See, I knew
it'd be so painful to try.
I knew we had to throw the off speed there to Coach Ulmer. He's Oregon volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer. Coach, congratulations again on a tremendous season. Look forward to catching up with you again. Maybe an update in the winter and the spring, huh?
Oh, if you'll have me, sure. I'd love to come back.
Hey, I want everybody to know the invitation is still open for Coach Ulmer to host a show.
Okay. Yeah, I need a co-host. I feel like by myself it would be a train wreck. But
that would be half the fun.
I'll work on Kelly. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. I still think Kelly and I 1-2 punch.
If we could find a time in both of your off seasons, because there's no such thing as an off season for a coach. I mean,
that's true.
If we could work it out.
Could be epic. It could be.
I mean, it would be my last day.
Don't tempt me.
Scott's in. Scott's all in. Yeah. It would either be my last day because they're so good that Duck Insider just becomes the Matt Ulmer, Kelly Graves show, or it would be so bad they'd be like, Joey, that was your worst idea ever. That's it. You've burned up your capital.
Probably more likely that, but
fans would love it. Thank you again, Coach. And hey, travel safe. Enjoy the time out there, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks. Merry Christmas, everybody. Appreciate you.
Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Quick timeout coming back, wrapping up the show. Getting ready for football practice tomorrow on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Wrapping up Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. If you're just joining us, Oregon football schedule changes for next season and in 2025. The Ducks will continue the rivalry with Oregon State, thanks to multiple universities working together, moving some things around in the non-conference schedule. So the Ducks will play at Oregon State September 14th of next year, and then at home against Oregon State on September 20th of 2025. Thanks to Matt Ulmer and Rob Moseley. A number of different things going on tomorrow, including Duck football practice. We'll have practice reports for you, and Coach Lanning meeting with the media. Ryan Milano's here because I'm headed off with basketball. See you, everybody.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are